what are we doing with the current transfer of knowledge and information, the really pouring into the next generation of the workforce, or even in our current generation of the workforce? I just left a retirement party for one of our long-term customers who's retiring in just a few short days. And when he walks out the door, he walks out the door with decades of knowledge and experience. He's been in the workforce for well over 45 years. The challenge that we currently are facing is well within how we're managing that transfer of knowledge in the coming generation. This is a chart of the actual participating workforce over the past 20 years. And you can see that trend has gone down significantly over 20 years. We hit the lowest point in 2020. If the workforce has taken a gap, that means that there's been a break in a transfer of knowledge, meaning our current workforce has less experience, and over the next decade, we'll have less experience than our current workforce. We're slowly climbing back out of it, but actively still lower than we were even 10 years ago. This is a current situation that we're running into right now, and what are we going to do about it? How are we going to navigate this? So it's been on my mind a lot recently is to what are we going to do about it? Because we're now in the age of information and in the age of technology.
So my name is Zach Pfeiffer. I started here at Loc-Doc 10 years ago as a locksmith technician.
My name is Nathan Hammer. I am the branch manager and I actually started off answering the phones and doing dispatch.
When we talk about this, you're now operating at a branch manager level. Zach, you're now operating at the operations manager. You've stepped through different positions along the way, running different departments. At each of those stages, you've had to essentially mentor the people on your team to step up so that you could step up as well. You guys have had to squeeze that down into 2, 3, 4, 5-year spans. What have you seen as some ways that you've been able to make that cycle shorter? What are the things that you're having to focus on to get information to help people make decisions differently?
I think documentation is definitely a big part of it, and I think the other half of it is experience.
So now currently, with my new role changing, I'm really trying to hone in on documentation. So every meeting I have meeting notes on it. Every one-on-one that I have with each employee, I take meeting notes as well, and something to resort back to. Trying to figure out processes, trying to figure out when we have those processes, are they documented, where are they documented, so that people can go back to those.
So I guess the question then is, how can we utilize technology or just the art of documentation more intentionally in our business, and then how do we do it? How can other businesses do it as well? Because I think that art form, that intentionality is probably a challenge in the busyness of the day-to-day.
Yeah, I know ours for documentation, we developed a website for our team. That's where we put a lot of those processes, a lot of those documents in that anybody can revert back to and look at.
One of the big factors with doing that when you document it is ease of use, making it easy to do the right thing and making it easier than picking up the phone and calling somebody where you can look up that information right away.
Again, this is all going back to that kind of gap of the workforce and where things are shifting. How, if you were to be intentional about that, I think we all look at it as this large, overwhelming task. I've got to document everything in my business. Well, no, we just want to start with, how do we order this particular thing? How do we schedule meetings? How do we have customer interactions, whatever? And if we're doing that continually, then you can say, when someone new comes on, it's effectively you're building a living journal that you can share with people, and they can hopefully get up to speed pretty quickly by going through the process. And we can dive into a lot of different paths on this, specifically even over the past 15 or 20 years, where there's been such a drive in different types of career paths, as our previous generations have counseled, coached, or directed the generation that is coming into the workforce now of what kind of careers they should be chasing. So we're left with this gap of knowledge. Those experienced, knowledgeable people are exiting the workforce. Those that are coming in have less amount of knowledge and experience than we've ever been faced with, which challenges us all in an age of information, the age of technology. How are we setting the stage for this current workforce and the future workforce and the future generations? How you can quickly and easily access information, access knowledge bases, and access experience information so that you can apply it to your current set of skills or your certain set of challenges that you're facing.
My name is Sam Gray. I have been here 11 years, and there weren't really any departments when I got here. Started as an operations assistant, but now I'm operating as the purchasing manager. This is William. William, how many years have you been with us?
I've been working in the warehouse since the very beginning of 2020, so about 4 years now.
So I started originally to fill in a gap where Chad needed to step into more business development. And as we grew, I stayed in the parts realm, and that just developed into an entire inventory system.
When I first started in purchasing, I was mostly just taking care of checking in parts, very simple things, auditing, but over time, I've started doing purchasing, almost all the service purchasing. We spent years sitting across from each other, and a lot of the information I would get was just asking him question over question over question. As it's gone on, Sam started a process a couple years ago called the Part Spotlight on the Loc-Doc website, which I use it at least once a week, where it's basically just a document of a bunch of different ways to order different parts, and that's been super helpful.
It's a real problem that we're at right now. The data's there. It's been there for a long time, but we're now, as businesses, trying to figure out how we make that change, how we impact that now. So let's not just sit around and gripe about it and complain about it. Let's figure out a way that we can actively take charge of the future situation. The next 10, 15 years could be challenging on the workforce side. Well, what are we going to do proactively in 2024 that can start to set the stage for improvements over the next 10 or 15 years? So the few takeaways that I grabbed from just watching this video that I think are practical and maybe tactical that you can do is, number one, easy to follow documentation. Now, we do this in a couple of different ways. Number one, we do this through Google Docs. We use our meeting agenda. It's a pre-formatted template that you can start up very quickly. Anybody can start it up. It's pre-filled with the attendees of a meeting. It's pre-filled with a notes section and an action items section. You can assign those action items to team members and document the notes and takeaways. You can save it, you can share it, you can do all kinds of easy things for it, and it's all searchable through the entire Google interface. This is not sponsored by Google by any stretch. And then the second thing that we use is a Wix website. Again, not sponsored by Wix, but we just spun this up. It cost us probably about $200 a year. It was a very easy to deploy, took about an hour, and it has a resource section on there, or a forum section that we use as a forum board, a frequently asked questions, a knowledge base that we can search through and share. Now, you heard William and Zach both reference that information that they use on a regular basis. And we use it, it's password protected for our company. We use it for policies and procedures, all team meeting notes, agendas, really anything that we want to share as a company. So we talk about transfer of knowledge. We're talking about that massive knowledge base that's leaving all of our industries right now from a retirement standpoint. How can you capture it starting now by documenting information and putting it into an easy to follow, easy to share method? Find it where people can search it easily and be able to apply it. Nathan, Zach, William, Sam all talked about it within our team. I would like to hear how you are trying to transition knowledge and share information with your team, because we may be missing something as well, and I'd like for us to be better as well. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.